Destroying planets and galaxies is tough work. You have to find the thing you want to destroy, go to the star system, charge up your planet destroying powers, and then destroy it. It's a tough life for an eon of destruction. But like most good managers though, Nanook has learned the 10 things every effective leader should know and has started to delegate their planet destroying duties. But who could the Eon of Destruction trust with such an important task? Surely it can't be those kooks at the Annihilation Gang. Well, the answer is clearly Nanook's Emanators, of course. 7 incredibly powerful individuals with nothing but destruction on their minds. But who are these agents of destruction? What abilities do they have, and do all of them operate in the same way? That's what we'll be discussing in this video, the Lord Ravagers of Destruction. Before we do though, if you want to see more Honkai Star Rail content, do consider subscribing to the channel. As with all lore videos, because I'll be talking about all of Destruction's Emanators here, there may be things here that spoil stuff, but I don't think it's too critical to the story, but I still have to warn you. To give you a very brief explanation, the Emanators are individuals who the Eons have not only taken a liking to, but also allowed them access to their very own special stash of powers. While you might think this makes Emanators only a tiny bit stronger than your typical Pathstrider, the difference in power is actually tremendous. If we use the ocean as a scale, because why not, Pathstriders are kind of like the sea foam just gently floating on the surface, almost non-threatening, while Emanators on the other hand are akin to tsunami waves. So the power difference between an individual who can access the paths and those who have favor from their space gods is huge, and why Emanators can easily destroy planets and even galaxies. Now, given Nanook's only mission is to go around the cosmos destroying everything, you might wonder who would even want to join up with this Eon. While there are some crazy individuals out there, some of the Emanators among Nanook's group are actually taken from the very planets that Nanook destroys. The Eon of Destruction essentially gives the individual they deem worthy an option to serve the interests of destruction or get destroyed. Not much of a choice, but that is Destruction's recruitment campaign. If they choose to serve them, then Nanook delays their destruction in exchange for subservience. So once they are added to the company chat group, off they go destroying every planet, civilization, and galaxy they come across. This is the general origin of the Lord Ravagers. But this video is more about the details of each Ravager, so how many are there actually? In total, there are 7 Lord Ravagers, 4 of which we have names for, while the other 3 are only identified by their epithets or titles. Let's start off with the one you likely know the most, especially if you've played the Xianzhou Alliance storyline. Phantylia. Well, the most common image of Phantylia is one where she is a giant grey-skinned lady with pretty massive assets. She is in fact a heliobus. The heliobi, or also known as the Shapeless, are incorporeal sentient flames that can possess and take control of a physical being and feed on their emotions. As a heliobus that has also been blessed by the Eon of Destruction, Phantylia has all the typical abilities a heliobus has, but dialed up to 11. When not inhabiting a body, she appears as a yellowish-green ball of flame. What's interesting about the Ravagers are that individually, they have their own ways of destroying things. Phantylia's modus operandi, for example, is that she likes to sow discord and internal strife, making the inhabitants of a planet turn on each other and weakening them before instructing her army to attack. While targeting the Xianzhou Luofu, she purposefully resurrected the Ambrosial Arbor in order to instigate a civil war. And when that failed, she conspired with the Borisins to free their warhead, hoping it would cause further chaos. So her methods are pretty clear. Create internal strife, have the planet or civilization weaken itself through infighting, and when everyone is busy arguing, she attacks with her army. Outside of her heliobi abilities, we don't really see her do much of anything else, though in her boss fight, she was shown to do a few things like easily destroy a planet, though perhaps that's an elaborate illusion. Moving on to the next Ravager on this list is Lord Ravager Zephro, or Zephro, I don't know how to say his name. Just so you know, we don't really know what any of these Ravagers really look like except for Phantylia, so it's just gonna be a bunch of random pictures taken from other games or anime. Anyway, while Phantylia is all about subterfuge and gaslighting, Zephro is the complete opposite. He is literally a one-man army and is likely the most direct version of destruction you can find. There is no conversation to be had, no negotiation, no discussions. as when Zephro appears, everything will be destroyed, no questions. He does not wait or come up with plans, he just appears and does his job. Zephro is said to be obsessed with raw strength, and in the Bud in the Wind curio, it's said that when he appeared, all that could be seen was the fire of an intense supernova, and moments later, all but dust remained. In an IPC broadcast, he was said to have been spotted in the Tianua galaxy, which has since been completely destroyed. This is likely why his title is the Scorching Flare, and while we don't know the details, Zephro likely has abilities that involve an immense release of energy that just clears out everything in their vicinity. Because of this, you might think that Mr. Destruction Employee of the Month here just wants to get the job done, but in truth, they actually view the last fleeting moments of life as having its own inherent beauty. This is why they destroy things almost in a flash, as it's during that brief moment that those existences are at their most meaningful, at least to him. Number 3 on this list is Celenova. Celenova is likely one of the younger or newer members of the Lord Ravagers Club, as she was the one who took over from Zulo when the galaxy ranges off the guy. While Celenova could be one of the newest members, she is actually one of Nanook's favorites. We don't really know too much about her or her abilities, but she is referenced as a frontline general in the Xianzou's list of archenemies. It's very likely that while she is indeed powerful, her value lies in her tactical skills, as she has gone up against 3 different Xianzou ships in the past, causing tremendous casualties. My guess is that Celenova is just an efficient general, able to consistently deliver the gift of destruction through military prowess alone. Phantylia may take too long with her manipulations, while Zephro is too much of an artiste to be consistent, so maybe this is why Nanook favors Celenova as one of their main enforcers. I say one of their main enforcers because surprisingly, Nanook has yet another favorite, Iron Tomb. Now first off, Iron Tomb is one hell of a cool name and just reminds me of Iron Giants from Final Fantasy. Despite their medieval sounding name though, Iron Tomb is actually the most technologically savvy of all the Lord Ravagers. His forte, as far as the list of archenemies has outlined, and even Herta has confirmed this, is actually attacking technologically advanced civilizations. I mean, it makes sense for Nanook to have such a follower. Think of all the technologically advanced planets or civilizations that exist. It's very likely that such planets could easily repel the armies of the Anti-Metal Legion. When Nanook takes notice of such a planet, that's when they send Iron Tomb. Every place Iron Tomb has visited has reported instances of technology outright failing. AI systems shut down or turn on their creators, intellectual collapse occurs with science and knowledge going haywire, and equipment just outright fails. When all defenses and technological advantage has been rendered useless, will Iron Tomb and his armies attack. Iron Tomb is functionally a walking celestial EMP combined with a virus, able to turn futuristic cities back to the Stone Age just from his presence alone. When you consider that some life forms in the Star Rail universe are non-organic, like Screwlum, having a Lord Ravager who can disrupt technology is immensely terrifying. You could even say that if Iron Tomb were ever to visit planet Screwlum, they would rightly be screwed. Alright, now we reach the next 3 Lord Ravagers, which to be honest, we don't actually have names for. They are only just referred to their titles and the destruction they leave in their wake, so I'll be referring to them by those titles and will likely theorize a bit. The 5th Lord Ravager, which by the way these numbers don't mean anything, is only referred to as the Sun Devourer. As you might have guessed, this particular Lord Ravager is like a giant cosmic Pac-Man, eating up suns and stars wherever they go. Well, technically they don't eat up stars, but more likely extinguish them. There was an incident that occurred in the Yavana system where a third of all the stars in this region were mysteriously extinguished. At first you might think, well, this might just be space doing space things. I mean, just because a sun or two disappeared doesn't mean it's a Lord Ravager, right? Well, after the planets surrounding these suns were left cold and in complete darkness, each one of them was attacked by the Anti-Metal Legion. No survivor has ever seen the being that gobbled up these suns, so since that incident, they have only referred to the culprit as the Sun Devourer. There are theories that suggest that this Ravager might be a Leviathan, but it's not confirmed. Anyway, next up we have the Chess Player. Yes, among the many destroyers, world enders and sentient supernovas, one of them is referred to as the Chess Player. Again, we don't know what their real name is, and the chess player is only their moniker, one given to them due to the way they seemingly operated. The stargazers of the Xianzhou Yuchui once produced an observational account of the dead planet Syracuse 3. While most anti-Matter Legion armies often rush into an attack like a mad beast, those observed here acted more like a precision instrument. They moved slowly and carefully toward the target planet, destroying key outposts, chipping away at defenses, and incrementally putting pressure on their target until eventually their target is destroyed. Similar tactics were observed in more than one location, which created speculation that an overlord sat in the shadows orchestrating the armies of the Legion in such a way. Because this Lord Ravager acted in a more calm and controlled demeanor compared to the other Lord Ravagers, they were often compared to a chess grandmaster and thus the name. Beyond that, nothing much is known about them. We don't really even know whether such a Lord Ravager exists, but given the Xianzhou included this entry in their list of arch-enemies, they likely do. Last but not least is a Lord Ravager that is not only unnamed, but we don't even really have a title for them. Honestly, I'm not sure the Xianzhou Alliance even checks the list of arch-enemies to verify things, but perhaps Qingcui is the one who put this together. Anyways, the only information we have on them is that the Xianzhou Luofu's Realm-Keeping Commission once encountered a planet that had been entirely converted to antimatter. That's pretty much it. The Xianzhou Alliance suspect that this might be the work of a Lord Ravager since it left a lot of destruction in its wake and has something to do with antimatter, but truth be told, it could be any number of things from just a weird space phenomenon or some other aeon or path. But since it's again mentioned in the arch-enemies list, I'll just include it here. Now, there is technically one more Lord Ravager, Zulo, but at the time of the main story, they have already been eliminated by the Galaxy Rangers. I suspect that when we eventually explore the Galaxy Rangers in-game, we're going to get a more detailed account on the Lord Ravager themselves, and when and if that happens, I'll talk more about Zulo. With that, we have covered all 7 Lord Ravagers that are currently in the main story. Given how central Destruction is as the antagonist and the fact that our mission is to beat Nanook, it's likely unavoidable that we will eventually meet each and every one of these Ravagers. Whether the ones discussed here will remain the same throughout or if some of them will be off-screen, I don't really know. But with how difficult it is to permanently destroy Phantylia, I mean the lady keeps coming back, none of these fights will be easy. How exactly a baseball bat is supposed to go up against a living supernova, we'll have to wait and see. With that, I'll end the video here. Who among these Ravagers sounds the most interesting to you, and do you think we'll ever get to summon for them? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found the video entertaining, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.